Update 2. Am I the a-hole for being my nephew's first word? Original post. My brother and his wife have a baby that's over a year old. He's 15 months. I regularly babysit him. I don't mind it because I'm happy to help my brother. Although his wife is a stay-at-home, so I'm not sure why I have to, but I don't want to cause trouble. I work and own a dairy farm. I asked my brother if it's okay if I take his son to work with me whenever I babysit. Otherwise, I would get nothing done. I have proper safety precautions in place, and he only comes with me in the tractor because it has a proper car seat. He said it's fine. My nephew loves the animals. He makes all kind of excited noises, and I try to encourage him to pet them when I hold him. They are all vaccinated and dosed regularly and calm. Again, cleared with my brother. So we spend a lot of time together. My brother and his wife have been trying to get him to say his first words, although it's not simple and they don't exactly make it easier. Instead of mama or dada, they coax him to say mother and father. And my nephew just doesn't get it. He's a baby and those words seem kinda complicated for a baby. We were all over at my parents' house for a Sunday get-together, and I was sitting playing blocks with my nephew. He suddenly looks up at me and starts going b-b-b-b-b. I thought it was just normal baby talk. Then he gets more aggressive, repeating those letters over and over again. Then he starts going N. He then shouts Ben and points at me and laughs Ben, my name. My brother and sister-in-law start yelling at me, saying I was coaching him and how I was being selfish. They immediately pick him up and my brother yells at me, "You took away his first word. That was supposed to be our moment." They storm off to another room and stayed in there for about 10 minutes and then came out and leave. But as they are leaving, the baby looks at me again and shouts my name in a playful baby voice and points at me again. My sister-in-law screams at her son. So her son starts crying then. She shouts at him more and starts crying herself and they leave. My parents think I'm an a-hole and I shouldn't have been teaching him my name. But I haven't. The only time he hears my name is when anyone else says it. Now they think I should apologize to my sister-in-law for ruining what should have been a mother's special moment. But honestly, my sister-in-law doesn't act like much of a mother. She doesn't work, but I have her son 5 days a week. Though I refuse to take him on Saturdays and Sundays because I want to get some nitty-gritty work done, and she throws fits about it. At family events, he's always offloaded to me. To play with, to feed, she pumps. Always has. I'm not judging her for not doing direct breastfeeding, by the way. To calm down any tantrums, and to change when he soils his diapers. What do you think, guys? Edit. The argument that sister-in-law had with her son went something like this. Sister-in-law, say mother. Baby. Baby noises, Ben. Then more baby noises. Sister-in-law, say mother. Baby, with tears in his eyes and kind of sobbing. B, Ben. He said Ben quietly this time. Sister-in-law, no, you idiot. Say mother now. Baby's now crying. Ben. Sister-in-law, more not so nice words that I don't feel like repeating. Say mother. Baby's now full on crying and sniffling. And doesn't say anything. Then sister-in-law, brother, and baby leave. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You have the kid 5 days a week. Of course he'll bond with you. And it's not surprising he said your name. You're the one raising him. I have no idea what's the matter with your sister-in-law that she leaves him with you this much when she's at home. Maybe she has PPD? But anyways, this whole outburst is a result of her insecurities because she knows she's not doing what she should be doing if she wants to be her son's main person. It's a her problem, not a you problem. I would have the kid every day if I didn't put my foot down and say I need Saturday to do some heavy dangerous work, otherwise I would get nothing done. She doesn't have PPD. She went to therapy after he was born and they said she was fine. Her reason for staying at home is so she can have some peace. OP, I would be calling for a wellness check from CPS based on your edit. She screamed in her infant son's face that he's an idiot for something he has literally no control over. He's not capable of understanding what she wants from him and is being abusively punished for it. Your nephew is being mistreated. If this is what happens to him when he's a baby, imagine what's going to happen when he's a toddler and willfully disobeys his mother. Is there any chance at all her behavior won't escalate? I don't think so. Hard agree. This is horrifying. They sound like awful parents. Mom is absent despite being home all the time. What the heck does she need peace from? And then verbally abuse her son. And OP, your parents suck too. They should know you literally can't control what a baby's first words are. Add 2. I have taken your advice on board, and I'm going to take action tomorrow. I'll post an update sometime next week if the sub allows it. Now for the first update. I figured I would give you all an update. Thanks for all the advice and help, everyone. I did not call CPS right away. Our country has something else. But for simplicity, I'll just refer to it as CPS. That was probably my biggest mistake. I've always tried to see the good in people and trust and forgive others. It's a terrible habit to have in this modern day, but that's just always been me. I brought little one over to his parents' house early Friday afternoon and told them it's their baby, so they need to look after it. I wasn't going to babysit anymore, not unless it's a dire emergency such as death or illness. I gave them parenting books and explained everything they were doing wrong. We had a long talk for a few hours, and I honestly thought we got somewhere. Then I went over Sunday afternoon, and little one was doing great. He was doing the baby stumble all over the room. He was laughing, it seemed great. The car seat was nowhere to be found. I thought we'd turn a corner. He even said a second word, will. Not sure why, but he uses it now to get attention instead of Ben. I was only over for an hour and they all seemed happy. On the way out, I mentioned to my brother that on Monday, I was going to be helping my fiancé move into my place. Monday morning rolls around. I get up, milk, feed a dry cows and calves bed everything, and put the milking stock out to grass. I was running late to meet my fiancé, who I'll call Aya, so I took off my overalls, ran into the house, grabbed my keys from my pickup off the table. I didn't even look at the living room. You can see where this is going already. It was 10 a.m. at this point. I put my trailer on and went over to Aya's, and I was there for 3 hours helping her load and pack. We went and got lunch at around 2. We stayed at the cafe for an hour, went shopping together for an hour or so, then back to hers to lift my truck and the rest of her stuff. We got back to mine at around 7, and we were standing talking in my yard when we both hear screaming and crying. I unlocked the door and ran inside and was greeted with an image I'll never forget. Little one was on the floor screaming and crying. His face is all red. He was sucking on one of the unopened bottles of breast milk. His high chair that I have was lying on the floor. He had tried climbing it earlier in the day. I looked back through the cameras after CPS came. My TV was on the ground, broken. The place was a mess. His diaper was a mess. I picked him up and began calming him down while I changed him. I put 3 bottles in the microwave to heat up and then took him to feed him for me. I got a text then from my brother asking if I could bring him back to theirs at around 8 because they had a surprise for everyone. They were having an announcement party, which is why I had to babysit, so they could get it all ready. They hadn't texted me at all earlier. I then thought about ringing my brother, but as I looked at my fiancé was yanking the bottle out of little one's mouth so he didn't drink too fast and give himself stomach problems, as he was really aggressively gulping it down. I decided to call CPS and the police instead. CPS came to us, and the police went theirs. I handed little one over and gave my statement, as well as a copy of my CCTV. My sister-in-law arrived at mine at 7 a.m. and dropped little one off. My living room baby monitor caught nearly all of little one's movement, and one of my outside cameras caught a fair bit of his movement in the kitchen. He pulled the TV down on top of himself after he had been crying for a few hours. That's how he got his forehead bruised. He tried climbing into his high chair, but that fell onto him and bruised his shoulder. He sat in the car seat I have on the living room floor, took it out of my truck to make room for boxes, and just screamed my name. And then just screamed nothing as his voice was hoarse by this point. What was sister-in-law's surprise, you wonder? Well, it's nothing. Only that she's pregnant again. Because in her words, the first one was a breeze and she wants a daughter. Unfortunately, CPS in my country believes strongly in rehabilitation, but it's aggressive rehab, not just, here's your kid, try to do better. It's the whole 9 yards. My sister-in-law has a new therapist, and they must do couples counseling as well as parenting classes, a weekly visitations by CPS, from now until new baby is 2 years. I've been appointed as watcher for little one, meaning anyone that wants to visit has to be approved by me, and a bunch of other things must go through me. I know I made a mistake in trusting them, but I really thought they would change. Aya and I are now fully moved in together. I haven't babysat at all this week. Brother and sister-in-law are in between court appearances and other mandated events, as well as being a parent. They struck a deal with the prosecutor and CPS, 3-year suspended sentence, and a bunch of other restrictions, which is how this all progressed so fast. My parents have finally seen sister-in-law and brother for what they are, and have apologized profusely to me. I'm getting married in March, but I've demoted my brother from best man to guest. I just promoted my best friend and picked another friend to be a new groomsman to keep it even with Aya's bridesmaids. I'm contemplating on inviting them, but I'm going to think about it for a while. A lot of you said I should adopt a little one, but the truth is I don't want to. I love him and will always be there for him, but I want it to be a fun but caring uncle capacity. I know this sounds selfish, but I just can't explain my love for him. I want my own family and still be a part of his. I hope you all understand this. There was still a lot happening, so I might make a second update much later, but this is all that I can share at this point. Brother and sister-in-law are mad at me and refusing to talk outside of anything they are legally required to talk to me about. I don't see why they are mad at me though. They left a baby which hadn't had breakfast at my house and didn't tell me when they knew I was going to be away. Please feel free to leave some more advice or thoughts. I do read them all, even the negative ones. But take care everyone and thank you for all your help. Honestly, I'm surprised CPS is letting them keep the baby after what happened. And good on you for having cameras. Otherwise, you'd have been in a serious trouble for something that wasn't even your fault. And that sister-in-law is really a piece of work. She's describing pregnancy as a breeze. But does she really expect you to take care of their second child? Anyway, I'm sure the only reason you didn't cut them off was so you can have a healthy relationship with the little one. So, I hope you keep on being the good uncle you always have been. Also, I'm glad the parents finally opened their eyes. Looks like brother was the favorite/golden child. Brother was absolutely the favorite, but I didn't mind when we were growing up, as having less attention let me do my own thing and focus on the stuff I wanted. I didn't get a lot of help, so extracurriculars were off the table, but I read a lot and went for walks around the countryside, eventually got a job at a local farm, graduated agricultural college as number 1. The guy I worked for passed away soon after, and his 2 sons didn't have an interest in farming, so they sold it to me well below market value. I think sister-in-law thought I would watch both of them when the second is born, because she screamed at me a few days after this had all gone down that how could I do such a thing, and if we weren't legally required to, you wouldn't be seeing either of them ever. But I'm hoping now she's forced to raise her kids herself. She realizes how much I actually did for her. When he's old enough, I might give little one a paid job on the farm. Give him somewhere he can go to get away from it all and earn some money at the same time. Wow, sister-in-law still has the nerve to blame you, when all of it was her and only her fault. Even brother couldn't be blamed, since he assumed that you're on board thanks to sister-in-law. Also, I know it's not my place to ask, but what is going with sister-in-law? You've mentioned that she's currently a stay-at-home mom, but dropping little one off 5 days a week is really weird. Is she going through therapy? Or has something at home preventing her from actively taking care of little one? Also, I really like your plans for little one. He's lucky to have a great uncle despite not-so-wise parents. I honestly don't know what she does when I watched little one. When I drop him home, she's just be sitting there watching TV. The house was clean, I'd give her that. But her therapy was only once every 2 weeks. She just told me she wants peace and quiet during the week from little one. Also, my brother knew everything that sister-in-law did, and even supported it, if you read my comments from the original post. So, he's equally to blame. Now for the last update. Hi everyone! It's been almost a month, so I thought I would post an update here. I first tried having a civilized conversation with little one's parents, and it worked for 2 days. Then it was back to me looking after him, so I called CPS. There's a whole incident in my page if you're curious. Sister-in-law is unfortunately pregnant again, because apparently raising the first one was simple and easy. She also used the word breeze. CPS has them on a strict regimen with regular therapy for them all, and classes for the parents. Sister-in-law's new therapist has diagnosed her with narcissistic personality disorder, as well as a few other things, but not PPD, surprisingly. I didn't mention it in the original post because it wasn't relevant, but I was engaged at the time. I'm not anymore though, cause I'm married. I invited little one and his parents. He has said a second word Will, though he doesn't know any people called Will. And he hasn't really said my name much, and his physiologist thinks it's because he associates it with yelling at him now. But he said it at my wedding, along with a new word that I definitely didn't teach him. There was a quiet moment when my best man pressed the mic to my wife's maid of honor, and little one chose that moment to demonstrate his vocabulary. Ben will... Everyone started laughing, except his parents, who were mortified because they see themselves as better than everyone else. They did try to blame me for the F word, but it's not my go-to swear word. Bastard would be my main choice. His parents are doing better. My brother was the golden child, but has fallen out of favor with my parents since CPS was called. I've been over to their house, and everything seems fine. No car seats on the living room floor, little one running around laughing, making noises, enjoying himself. My sister-in-law, on the other hand, has called me multiple times crying, because little one would cry for no reason, or he wouldn't sleep despite being fed and changed. All normal baby things. She wants me to solve it, but she needs to learn, especially with number 2 on the way. That's all really. I want to thank everyone for their help. I might make more posts on my account, not on the sub, but take care everyone. Congratulations on your wedding, and thanks for the update. Couple questions if you don't mind. Have you babysat since the 12-hour CPS day? Have they issued an apology or shown any remorse? Have you changed the locks to your house? The frantic calls from your sister-in-law are emotionally manipulative and an attempt to manipulation via guilt. Please don't answer. Document the calls and report them to the state agency overseeing their parenting. The kid is lucky to have you in his life. You're a good egg. No, I haven't babysat at all since the incident. I watched him for 20 minutes till my parents arrived, when his parents had to go to court, but that was about it. The only ones that have apologized are my parents. Brother and sister-in-law are still angry with me. Although since sister-in-law is a diagnosed narcissist, I will probably be waiting a while. As for brother, in my whole 25 years of living, I've never heard him say sorry. As for the calls, I usually answer if it's something I think might be useful later. Then I record it. But most of the time, I wait until she's midway through a sentence and then hang up. I like little one, but her baby, her problem. Soon to be 2 by the end of the year. I'll stick around their family to keep an eye on little one, and I'm considering not selling them a small plot of my silage ground to build on now because they currently rent. Also, when little one is old enough, I'll give him a job on the farm so he can earn money and get away from his parents. Thank you for your support and congratulations. Wow, just wow. Well, guess who's going to use their mental disease diagnosis as a get-out-of-jail-free card? If you guessed sister-in-law, then you've won. Good on you for setting boundaries. And I'm honestly thrilled upon how they are going to manage the second child. That being said, little one is a legend with that sentence. I doubt you can use, "Sorry, I'm a diagnosed narcissist," to get out of very much. Honestly, it seems like the type of illness you'd want to hide. My best man/best friend paused for a moment after little one shouted, before saying, "Little one knows what weddings are really about." His parents wished a hole would open up and swallow them. Really ruined their uptight high society image now that their kid knows a swear word and is quickly becoming his favorite word, probably due to all the laughing he gets in response to it. I might make an update next year after number 2 is born, so everyone can see how far they've progressed.